Hello. I wanted to make this video for a while. Um, when I was a lot younger, something around 13, I used to make adventure books in small sketchbooks like those to pass the time, mostly in class. It was like 2001 and 2002. So I don't remember exactly why I started to make them. Except I love the choose your own adventure books. I love to create little words, but I was bad at writing stories in these worlds, so I figured it could be a way to show my worlds to other people without really telling a story. Except I didn't have many friends at the time, but that's a whole different story. So here's the first one. And as you can see, it's pretty old. It's been taped back together several times, and it's made in color pencils. So here's the first one. It's about this giant tree where these little creatures, which looks like rabbits, live. And one of them is a scientist, and the tree is constantly attacked by giant snakes, and she created little spheres with magic powers. And when she awakes, everything's gone. Somebody stole all of them. So she asks one of her friends to go find them. She's called Dewey, and Dewey is this blue and purple girl, rabbit-like thing. At the time, I didn't know how to draw humans, so all my characters were small creatures with no mouth. So here's chapter 1, and as you can see, yeah, it's a game. So you pick a path, and you check which number it is. The numbers are here, and you go to the number. There's a lot of lifts and a couple of puzzles too, but very simple. You have to turn wheels to do things. I was really into Myst when I was younger. That was where you could write the items you found. So it's the plane in which the tree is growing. So it's the Avanti plane. It's where a lot of different species live. So here's a desert with a lot of statues in it. So here's the end of part 1. Some drawings on a bit of time. The kind of things I was drawing in class. Most of the creatures we meet along the way. The planet and all the different places we go to. The planet has a ludicrous name. It's named Yamarutake Tomei. Like, put as many letters as you can in there. As you can see, there was something about the climate and everything. I was really, really bored at school, as you can guess. I wasn't a bad student. I was just really, really bored. As you can see, I'm getting better at coloring things in this one. So Dewey is in some sort of jungle, and the lizards are convinced there's a lot of hexes in this place, and it turns out it's real. They're right. There's a lot of them. You have to be careful and not touch strange items. And yeah, this first adventure isn't finished. I never finished it. But as you can see, there was already a lot of work done. So yeah, it's unfinished. I did like half of it. That's the second one. It's on a planet, in a different planet called Glumia. Stupid name. And it's covered in lava, except this island. It's protected by a... Don't ask. Really, don't ask. It's protected by a magical cherry. And this small creature is visited by a magical tiger. Don't ask again. The novelty in this one was supposed to be that you pick friends to help you along the way, and they all have different powers. But it's even less finished than the previous one. I tried a different format for this one, but yeah, it's even less finished. Even if I never finished this one, I made a sequel, and this one I finished. It took me almost 2 years, if I'm more than 2 years, if I'm correct. And the planet is now okay. Water came back, everything's okay. But one day there's something extremely random happening. This creature breaks a jar, and there was like all the climate problems of the planet in the jar. It's yeah, again, don't ask. So the king writes a letter and asks friends to bring it from island to island. So from here, through all these islands, to this one, which is really dumb because they could have done this, but again, don't ask. Each creature had a little card. Clap has this small leaf on his head, and his island is covered in woods. Again, the color is getting a bit better, but it's still very, very messy. Again, I was 13, so he gives the message to Tulle, the second one, who looks like a snake, also with a little leaf on her head. Here's a card. And honestly, Tulle's part is the worst one, because you just have to move these crystals around until you make bridges with them. If this was a video game, everyone would hate this part. Here's Avis, the third one, and he's this little fox with wings. He's kind of cute and really shy. Honestly, I think it's where it's starting to get a bit like what I'm drawing nowadays, like a bit. That's that's the first chapter where you can die. So every time you die in this story, I was drawing myself saying, "No, stop killing the characters, you idiot," in the margins. So he's exploring an island where again everyone lives in trees. Again, that was an obsession of mine. Can you already tell me how many characters you're gonna kill? Says 13 years old me. It has a painting on the ground at some point. Here's what it looks like. And on the other side. And I was taking this very seriously, as you can see. The other creature in the chapter have their own little civilization. How they make fire, how they obtain water. Here the fourth one, he's called Manny. Manny is this bat-like red thing with green wings. At some point you have to play a game, and the other one is cheating, so it's even more difficult. There's a note here, it's last panel done. It was March 14, 2002. I was so happy. There's an exclamation point too. Yeah, it's 2002. I was 13. It's a lot of work. I remember one of my teachers took this thing away when there was like 3 panels left to make, and I was like, no. I was so upset, but she gave it back, which was really surprising to me because she wasn't a nice teacher at all. So again, little civilization of these creatures, how they write, a legend from their place. So the next one called Melan. She's this orange creature with pink wings. Here's a card, because you have to stay underwater for a while in this part. So if you stay in underwater for too long, you can die. A lot of colors in that one. I had a lot of fun. That island has cat-like things. They put a giant net to catch flying fishes in front of the exit, so you have to convince them to open the path in the net. And for that you have to dive under the lake, find a creature with a pendant, and put the pendant back on a statue, and the statue becomes alive and asks them. And yeah, that's the first part, and it's finished. And here's part 2, and I'm still very proud of this. I finished it in 2004. But honestly, it was some very, I'm gonna say, dark years in my life. I poured everything I had in these things. So the next one is called Lul. This one was supposed to be me, I remember. So that's me as a small creature from my books. Here you have an island, a very windy island, with these creatures who can't speak, but they have these parts on their heads. Yeah, you can see there's an exclamation point here. And they write things in the... They have very long tails, and they write things in the air with their tails. Again, speaking with their tails. I remember there was a giant spider, but yeah, it's there. It didn't look like a spider at all. And I already told you it was supposed to be me, but everyone was confused about the gender of the character. Including the character. When I designed all the little creatures, I wanted to draw this one for this chapter, but then I decided, no, I don't like this design. Okay, so he's sick, and the doctor of the creature who came to help him will go instead of the creature. So he's called Tlalek, and Tlalek has this watermelon on the head and this little fan. So something about the creatures from the previous chapter. So here's mission 7 with Tlalek and his little watermelon. You can get poisoned in these ones. So the creatures here on this island live in a jungle made of giant flowers everywhere, but it's pretty, but it's also rather scary because all the insects are gigantic And yeah, there's some panels. Tlalek is very scared of everything going on this island. Here's a giant wasp attacking him and poisoning him. He's like, I hate you, wasp. I hate you too. He's very scared of giant eyes in the dark. And it turns out it's a statue, and he's very upset about it. That's what happens if you get poisoned by the wasp for too long. Some panels are very detailed. There's a lot of things on these shelves. They found a giant egg for some reason, and they cook it in a hole, and he's like, it's delicious. So Tlalek gives a message to the next one called Aquilan, and he's like, good luck, night has fallen, and apparently the next island is haunted. And he's like, if you think I'm scared, yeah, actually, I'm scared. I used to draw this one a lot because it was very simple to draw. Something really weird could happen to you in this chapter. You could turn into a ghost. So that was the card for that. That island, I was really at my worst when I made this part. Honestly, for a thing with little creatures with round eyes, it's kind of dark. It's full of ghosts. The locals are these creatures with moon helmets on their faces. They're a bit creepy, as you can see, just a little bit. They bury their dead in the forest and take the helmet and stick it on a stick, and all those are tombs. It's kind of a creepy chapter, and you can guess I wasn't I wasn't really well when I made this part. For crying out loud, there's even bones. A frightening creature called Damatagenda who falls from the tree and captures people, and again, bones. And lanterns and spirits in shrouds. Even if they are rather cute, they're also a bit, yeah. This one tries to trick you into going into some sort of other dimension where you get turned into a ghost yourself. There's one singing sad songs. There's this weird thing appearing in the middle of a pond and telling you cryptic things about what you should do next. And it turns out the Damat agenda who terrifies everything is a small creature who's really scared of all the things in this place, and they tried to pretend they were one of the ghosts and dangerous things. They made a mask and hid in the trees and tried to scare people away. The next one is called Neige. The religion of the things with the moon helmets is a mix of Aztec myth and Viking myth. So here's Neige and her little card. She's got a little scarf because it's cold. Yeah, it's ironic, she's called Snow and she's on the island where it's really cold. You have to dig in the snow several times to find items. Oh, there's a witch too. She was supposed to look intimidating at first, but actually she's nice. One of the things in the story was you had to trust her even though she looked really weird. She helps you summon a ghost bridge, because there's no bridge to the next island. There's also a dragon, as you can see. Several, if I recall, several dragons. So here's the witch with her library. She's got a friend in the village who really doesn't like the cold, and because he collects plants. Here's another dragon. And here's here's last mission of Klupt. What a name. Klupt. So here's this green thing with bird feet and wings. And the last island is called Mysteria. Ha ha ha. What a surprise. And here's where I got a lot better with colors and lines. And honestly, a lot of things I learned while making these helped me a lot later to go from this to this in 2 years. That was really good for me, actually. So this one has things who don't speak any kind of language, and you still have to make them understand. You need to talk to their king, if they have a king, you're not sure. There's this weird thing, arranging stones. There's a lot of panels without text too. You just have to rely on the numbers. There's a lot of puzzles too. Here's what happened when the king actually stops the tornado. Here's when you finally meet the king and give the message. As you can see, I was also starting to figure out bigger panels sometimes could be useful. And yeah, that's it. That's the solution, so I never really got around to draw it, but yeah, I completely finished this one. So yeah, that was what I was doing at school when I was 13 and then 14. And there's a last one, but I'm gonna do a second video for this one.